In this video, I'll show you how to remove the front right axle on a Toyota Tundra. This is obviously a 4x4 model. So the passenger side, what's going on with our axle? It's kind of loose. It makes that clanking sound. So it sounds like metal hitting metal when you're driving over speed bumps or anything like that. It just sounds like the whole front end is loose. So we hope this is the issue. We thought it was gonna be the ball joints, but most likely it's this axle. Everything else looks good except this. So one thing when you start off is just lift the side that you're going to be taking it off, and make sure the other side is not lifted equally because it will be leaking oil out of the differential. So we have the side up in there. We're using a 21mm socket for the bolts. Just gonna work your way all around. So we're going to be using a 35mm socket. Alright, so now we're using a 17mm socket to remove the 4 bolts on the bottom that's holding the ball joint to the lower control arm. Okay, so we just lifted up the spindle and the axle slid out. Some of them, they get seized in there, so you're gonna have to hammer it. Ours is loose already, so it wasn't seized, so it just came off pretty easily. So there goes the axle. Some steps are gonna tell you to remove it from the top ball joint. We're not gonna do that. This was a little bit faster and it's the same outcome. So. So once you popped it off the differential, could just slide it out. Kind of put it back in place because the oil started leaking. Guess we didn't have a good enough angle to avoid the oil coming out. Okay, so that's the axle. And just make sure you take it off with this ring. Make sure the ring doesn't stay behind, because the new axle will have this dust ring. Alright, so now we got the axle off. We're looking over just what's wrong with it. It's basically done. It's metal to metal. And alright, so we just got the new axle. We're going to be installing it. It should just pop in. There you go. Just double check, make sure it's all the way in. So just insert it into the spindle. Okay, now we're going to be putting the 4 lower bolts. They were 17 millimeters. Just make sure you put them on by hand first. Line up the holes properly. So we end up using the old sock or the old nut, so it's a 35. Just gonna double check it, make sure it's not rocking like the old one. A lot better than the old one. That one was done. This one's more solid. Alright, so we're just putting the wheel back on and we're gonna go for a test drive.